Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another EuroStep episode where you can find EuroLeague hottest topics from your favorite basketball competition, EuroLeague. I'm Sofia Del Prado, and I'm very happy, as you know, to have the best co-host ever, which is Dane Arlauckas and resident expert Dane. What a pleasure to see you
Come
again.
on. The best team ever, Sophia. How are you? What a pleasure. And what a crazy day in EuroLeague we've got.
Crazy day. We got a lot of things to talk about, to comment, to discuss, and we're going to be doing that with our today's guest, Clare Griffiths, five-time Paralympic basketballer and EuroCup commentator. Thank you, Clare, for joining us today.
Hey guys, great to be here. Just such a crucial part of the EuroLeague season. It's been great to chat about it.
Yeah, and we're going to have a lot of fun, and we want to share the fun with everyone watching, with all our viewers. So, guys, you know that you're our fourth man, so please start sending comments, send us your love, because you know that we're going to be reading the best of them. Also, you know that we have a special discount to offer to you tonight, a discount for EuroLeague, because you can enjoy a 20% off on your first payment on a monthly pass with the code PO20 for EuroLeague TV. It's not working in Italy or in Spain, so if you're there, sorry. But and it expires at the end of the season. So the sooner that you start using it, the sooner that you can get to enjoy everything that EuroLeague has to offer you. So now we said that there is a lot of things going on, a lot of breaking news that had just popped up. And that's what we're going to be talking about, because EuroLeague has just released the new standings without the three Russian teams. So now we have 15 teams standings, and this is how it looks like.
Yeah, the official line from the EuroLeague is that the ECA Shareholders Executive Board have taken the following decision to withdraw the participation of Russian Federation teams in both the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague, which is CSKA Moscow, obviously, Unix Kazan, and Zenit St. Petersburg, and also the 7 Days EuroCup with Lokomotiv Kuban Krasnodar. For the 2021-22 season, as the situation in Ukraine has not evolved in a favorable way, and that all regular season games results versus Russian teams will be removed from any calculations of the EuroLeague and EuroCup standings.
So this is the current standings that EuroLeague has now released, and we can see Barcelona, Real Madrid, Olympiacos, Armani Milan that have already qualified for these playoff spots, but they're not alone, because they are sharing this with more teams like Maccabi Tel Aviv, Civina Zvezda, Bayern de Munich. Dane, do you think that this breaking news has just blown, have set the playoff race wide open?
Well, I mean, my mind is still scrambling, trying to figure out all of the playoff possibilities, calculations, things like this, because we've gone from a very open playoff picture, to just a brand new, busted open, wide open playoff picture. And now it really seems like everybody has a chance almost to be in the playoffs. You look all the way down to the 12th spot with Alba Berlin, and you've got about 6-7 teams really competing for those final 3 spots in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague playoffs. Easy for me to say, girls. Yeah, no, Turkish Airlines. So, anyways, it's such a crazy, standings right now, that Civina Zvezda is right there in the mix as well. Monaco's been dropped out. Suddenly, Bayern's been propelled up into 6th place. So I would not want to be the person who is in charge of figuring out all of the mathematical calculations of what each team needs to get into the playoffs, because they've got their calculators out, they've got their abacus out. It's just so crazy to even think about how many possibilities there could be for the rest of the season.
Yeah, exactly. We also have that some teams have played more games than others, so we still have a lot of things to happen, and I'm sure that we're going to be seeing a lot of surprises. Dane, you mentioned Alba Berlin and Civina Zvezda. We're going to be talking about that as our game of the week. We're going to analyze that later. But let's not forget, Claire, that we also have Baskonia and Fenerbahce touching real close these playoff positions. What do you think?
Yeah, it's so open. Baskonia coming off a winning streak, are really fighting, but they've only got 3 games left in the season now. So that's a tough one to do, but they're one win away from that top 8 position. And then Fenerbahce have 6 games to play. So it's all in their control. They've got to do it themselves. It's game by game. It's just focusing on delivering the performance they need to deliver. And so it's all going to take a bit of a change in mindset for some of these teams who weren't necessarily so close to the playoffs before.
Yeah, there's so many teams right now, girls, that are really playing their best basketball towards the end of the season. And Sofia, I just want to think, who are your favorites to secure qualification now that this new decision has been made?
Look, for now, I'm gonna mention my top and first one, which is Crvena Zvezda, because they have an extra motivation now. The Final Four is happening there. They have had a win against Real Madrid, against Maccabi. So I think that these last games that they're gonna play are gonna be key for them into find that extra motivation, that extra work that would allow them to be fighting for these playoffs and also for a spot in the Final Four. I think that would be wild in Belgrade. Also, I want to mention Maccabi Tel Aviv. It's a traditional team from EuroLeague. I think they're gonna do their best to be there. Let's not forget Efes, the current EuroLeague champions. They're gonna do their best to be in the Final Four as well. And Bayern Munich, they have been having a great season, and I don't think they will drop it just this last race for it.
Yeah,
Claire, what about you? What are you thinking? Yeah, so I want to know what you think, Claire. Don't be shy.
I won't hold back. Bayern Munich, I think, is one not to write off at all. It's such a good tussle by them. Baskonia, though, on the run that they've got at the moment, is like I think they're gonna put it out there for teams to knock them off the spot. Like, they've only got 3 games left, but it's within their control. Can they get 3 wins and put themselves in a position that other teams have to go out and deliver performances?
Yeah, guys, I have a guy with me on YouTube that is watching. Igor is saying that he loves Crvena Zvezda. So thank you, Igor, for supporting. I guess you agree with me. So let's see what happens with that. And keep posting, keep sending comments, keep telling us who do you think is going to make it to these playoff spots. Now let's look into what happened last week. Last week's game of the week was Olympiacos against Panathinaikos, having Olympiacos on a spectacular win against their all-time rivals Panathinaikos, 101-73 at home, being the biggest margin in EuroLeague history in a derby between these two Greek powerhouses. Dane, do you think that a win like this, what does a win like this do for the spirit in the locker room? And do you think this puts Olympiacos in the Final Four picture?
Well, Sofia, anytime you go up against your really most hated rival, it's nothing else matters in the world. It doesn't matter standings, where you are, where they are, and you just forget everything in the past, everything in the future, and focus on those 40 minutes of play. And Olympiacos did that from the very get-go. And really, this looks now, I'm convinced, like a Final Four team. I know Anthony Goods, one of our favorite guests. Of course, Claire, you're among our favorite guests as well, but must be happy to hear me say this. Olympiacos, I really do think is making that step to becoming a Final Four team. They've been growing throughout the season, and obviously you got guys like Slukas, you got guys like Zvenkov, but really the key for me in this game, which was an absolute blowout from the very start, they started out 7 minutes in, up by 20, 38 points in the first quarter. But Mustafa Fall was incredible starting off that game. He completely dominated the inside, and he was going up against one of the best centers in the league in Georgios Papagiannis. But he came out and took control, and if he can do that, this is a Final Four team that might be having an eye on that title come late May.
We've seen this player Fall having great games in the last games, and of course Olympiacos has players like Fall, but they also have a great fans that are very loyal to them, and this is how the atmosphere looked like at this Greek derby in the Peace and Friendship Stadium. Claire, let's look at the video, and I want to ask you, Claire, because you have been a basketball player. Do you think that an atmosphere like this helps to take a win at home, especially with this such bitter rivals?
Oh, just look at that passion, that Greek passion coming out in the crowd. It is amazing as a player to play in front of a home crowd. I did it in under 2012. I've played against it at the Rio Paralympic Games, and it feels like you've got someone else on your team when you're the home team and you've got a crowd like that behind you. So much energy. It's like every point you put on the board, like it feels like double, and it's just when it's going your way like that, is unbelievable as a player. And that's what leads to wins like that, where you just blow away a team as you take so much from the crowd.
What I'm sure it's giving them a lot of energy too is Anthony Goods, that is watching live, and he's commenting right now saying Olympiacos Final Four. I'm sure that they're happy. Olympiacos is happy to have a guy like Anthony Goods supporting them. So now, guys, let's move on to see what happened last week with EuroLeague Final Four tickets. Speaking actually about Final Four tickets are right now on sales. You can head up to f4tickets.com to secure your spot for the hottest ticket on the EuroLeague calendar. What do you think, Claire?
Yeah, and as we said, it's in Belgrade. It's so exciting. As we run to the end of the regular season, who's going to get those spots? It's going to be such a great battle to see who comes out on top. All still to play for in the standings, so we have no idea who's going to be there, and just great tickets to have because it's going to be amazing basketball.
And precisely in this Final Four where we can witness amazing basketball, I'm sure that we're going to be seeing some of the players that stand in the last week Fantasy Challenge, because this is the best players that you could have had. Dane, there are two guys that you have already mentioned, but I know that your guy, Papagiannis, is there.
Yeah, Big Papa, he's there after a very, very sound game. He was really the only one that showed up for Panathinaikos in the Athens derby. At 12.5 credits, he was the steal with 18 points and 9 rebounds. Mustafa Fall, we already talked about him, the big man for Olympiacos, and if he continues to play like that, well, my boy Anthony Goods, our guy Anthony Goods, is going to be just ecstatic with Olympiacos' Final Four and championship possibilities. Rudy Fernandez, the 37-year-old, going for 17 points in a very tightly contested game against Asbel Villeurbanne. And then the two Basconians, Wade Baldwin Jr. with the fourth, with a MVP performance at 12.1 credits. And then his teammate Rokas Gidraitis. The Baskonia starting to pick things up just when they need to towards the end of the season. Can they do it for the final 3 games? Girls, that remains to be seen.
Two players from Baskonia, and especially that's where we're going next, because if we look now on the social media, one lucky Baskonia fan made his dream come true and even got the jersey of his favorite basketball player. How lucky, Claire! Being a basketball player and feeling the love from the fans, how does it feel?
Oh, it feels great getting the love from the fans. Then you just know you're giving something back. When are we going to see that kid playing for one of these teams in 10, 15 years time and just performing? And he'll talk about the day that he got that shirt and he put it on, and that dream that he had growing up. And it's such a responsibility for athletes to bring that to life for kids.
Yeah, and we're gonna switch it up from what's been happening in the EuroLeague to what's about to be happening in the EuroLeague. And this is the big game of the week as Alba Berlin hosting Crvena Zvezda in the Mercedes-Benz Arena.
Battling to stay in the race for the postseason. The furious slam dunk. Up strong and rocking the rim. Do or die playoff implications. Expect fireworks. With so much on the line, this promises to be a white-knuckle ride.
So our latest game of the week, Alba Berlin against Divina Zvezda in Mercedes at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As we've said before, a key game for both teams that are right now in the playoffs race. Last time they met, Alba Berlin took a win home with an amazing performance from Mauro Lo, scoring 17 points and leading his team to a victory. Claire, who do you see as game changers from both sides?
Well, I think Zvezda Svita are going to look to the veteran players like Nikola Kalinci.
Kalinic, there we go.
What is it? I could say it in my head 2 seconds ago. That February's MVP for them, for the league. Just an experience of winning at the highest level. You're going to turn to players like that. And then Tamir Blatt, player of the game. Last time these two faced each other, what can he bring in as a young player that's really starting to, he comes from basketball stock, what's he going to bring to a game like that and really turn it on?
With Dane, with the Final Four now happening in Belgrade, do you think this is going to be an extra incentive for Crvena Zvezda to make it to the top 8 in this playoff race that is really heating up right now?
Well, I do think the news when it broke about Belgrade being the new host for the Final Four gave them a little bump. And then the news today that just came out that said, hey, you know what? You guys may have even a better chance of making it to the playoffs. That's just going to rile them up even more. And Crvena Zvezda, they're going to take this and run. But they've got a tough game, and they've got a lot of tough games coming in. 4 games to finish off the season, and they need all of those games to go in their way. I think for the 7 teams that are on the cusp of the playoff picture, they're going to need to win every game, because each and every one of those games you lose is devastating for you. It's going to leave a terrible taste in your mouth. You're thinking, is this the game that keeps us out of the playoffs? And I think at the moment, Crvena Zvezda, they know they have that added incentive, but Alba Berlin are sitting there, I think, in 12th place or something like that, knowing, hey, our chances are still alive too, even though they dropped that big game against Baskonia, but they've been on a 4-game streak. Crvena's been on a 4-game streak. Right now, it's anybody's guess, and you girls gave your predictions. I don't even dare to give my predictions on who I think is going to get to the playoffs, but I'll give you my prediction for who I think is going to win in just a couple minutes.
Yeah, we'll jump into predictions in a few seconds. But before, I want to ask you, because we're talking so much about the playoffs and who can make it to this playoff race. Do you think that we're witnessing the tightest playoff race that we've ever seen, guys?
I think it's so tight because there are so many teams still in the mix, but this curveball of some teams played like 25 matches of 28, some are still on 22. It's like you not know that you win your next 3 matches and suddenly you're through. But there's so much variety in there that just adds this extra dimension to it that makes it so tight this year.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of them, but the EuroLeague never ceases to amaze us or surprise us with how tight these races really are. Doesn't matter if you're, battling for first place or down at the bottom of the playoff picture, looking to get into that 8th spot. It always seems like there are some teams that are just, a group of teams, 3, 4 teams. This year, it happens to be 7 after the news just broke today. So we've got an all-out sprint to the final of the regular season, and I can't wait to see who it is going through. Tightest, maybe, but craziest, probably, certainly.
That's 100% correct. And Dane, we don't have to lie here. We love it. We love emotion. We love to be like thrilled to know who's gonna make it to these playoffs and then Final Four. Also, before we jump into the predictions, I want to read a comment and say hi to Green Greg, loyal fan, very loyal fan, because he's saying there is the one king of Europe, Panathinaikos. Hey. Like Panathinaikos have had a really good streak of wins until last week, but you have to support your team no matter what, and better times will come. So go Panathinaikos.
Well, yeah, they might be on a bit of a rough patch, but I'll tell you who's not. We've mentioned him already about 3 or 4 times here. Anthony Goods, who our buddy will be hosting the watch along this week, and obviously the game of the week will be this Crvena Zvezda Alba Berlin matchup with huge playoff implications. And he's going to have special guests, ex-Kimki, Bayern Munich, and Fenerbahce forward Malcolm Thomas live on YouTube. That's Friday, the 25th of March at 7:50 Central European Time, 1950 for those of you who use military time. So make sure you set your clocks, make sure you put your alarms on, because that will be must-see TV with Anthony Goods.
And talking about Anthony Goods, last week he was our guest on EuroStep, and we made our predictions. Because Claire, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but on EuroStep we have a tradition that we make a friendly competition between the guest and host to talk about our predictions for the game of the week. Last week Anthony was our guest, and he was 100% going to Olympiacos. Dane and I had Panathinaikos. As we already know, sadly, Dane and I didn't get it right, but Anthony did. So congratulations from here to Anthony for getting it right and for that unconditional love that he has for Olympiacos. But now it's time to talk about this game of the week's prediction. Claire, who you got?
Well, I'm going to go with being the guest is going to get it right. So I'm going Alba Berlin. They've won their last 4 home games. Like, they've got that run, they've got that home crowd. We talked about it earlier, the passion in the crowd, taking them over the line. I know Crvena Zvezda have this, like, they're so close to the playoff spots now and that home top 8 playoffs, but I'm going to go Alba Berlin.
Yeah, you know, Claire, I think if you've seen anything from this show, if you start getting predictions right, we just keep on mentioning your name throughout the rest of it, even if you're not here. So you know what? We'll see how yours goes, but I'm going the opposite way. I'm going with the Serbian side, because really I think they're in a great moment of their season, and it's contributions from so many different guys on that team. Davidovac, you got Nikola Kalinic, you've got Aaron White as well. Then, of course, Kostas Lukas. These are guys who have proven Final Four experience, and when it comes to that sort of big game situation, these guys are going to rise to the occasion.
For me, I'm going to agree with you, Dane, once again, and I'm going to go with Crvena Zvezda. Like I said before, I think that the fact that the Final Four is going to take place in Belgrade is going to make them want to be there even more. And they've been kind of being constant through the season. I love Kalinic. And let's not forget that they have won the last 5 games, except the last one that they play away from home, and they lost against 2 Spanish teams, Barcelona and Baskonia. So they're kind of in the same situation, and it's gonna be a key game for both. But I think it's gonna be more key or better for Crvena Zvezda to win, because they really need it, because they have less games to play. So it's a win-win for them, and I'm definitely going with the Serbians. Dane, I'm curious to see what Napoleon predicted this week.
Hey everybody, how we doing? We're back with Napoleon, who has been on a bit of a cold streak lately, but this week he's got Alba Berlin and Crvena Zvezda from the Mercedes-Benz Arena in this week's game of the round. And let's see who he's got. Naps, we're going to put you here. He knows what time it is. It's turkey time. We got Alba Berlin. We've got Crvena Zvezda. And we got the turkey. Naps, who you got in this week's game of the round? Let's go. Oh, he's going with the Germans at home in the big game with huge playoff implications. He likes Alba Berlin over Crvena Zvezda. Yeah, you know, I promise that wasn't me snorting back in the background. That was Napoleon. But yeah, you know what? Naps has been a little cold, and if he loses this one, if Alba loses this game, then we're going to start to have to look for somebody else to start making these picks, because it seems like he's become a curse rather than somebody who's making nice predictions. But we'll see how this one goes. I got Zavena. My dog's got Alba. So somebody in the house is winning.
Exactly, Dane. You're always 50%, like 50%. Like you're never 100% one. But I gotta tell you, I'm really happy that Napoleon got Alba Berlin, because he hasn't been very lucky in these last games. Obviously, I love Napoleon and I love the videos, I love the predictions, and that's why we encourage everyone that has a pet, a mascot, to send any videos that you want. It can be a lizard, it can be a rabbit, it can be a cat, it can be whatever you want. You can send us your prediction and we can play them on EuroStep. But again, like I was saying, I'm sorry for Napoleon. I'm kind of sad that I don't want him to win, but Dane, I want us to win with Zivina's
Come on,
bets.
first
sorry,
things
Claire.
first, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on, Napoleon, change your form.
Yeah. So we'll talk about what happens with this week's game of the week next week, and we'll see who got it right, who got it wrong. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on another episode of EuroStep. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you had fun and that you got to learn a little bit of what's going on EuroLeague. Dane, thank you so much. Claire, thank you so much for being here today with us and joining in us this week's guest. And we hope to see you soon. And everyone watching, thank you so much. You can watch our videos on demand on EuroLeague TV and YouTube. We're going to be back next Tuesday at 5:30 Central each time, and we're going to be talking about what happened with this week's game of the week. And don't forget that that we have a special discount for you with the code PO20. You can get a 20% off on your first payment on a monthly pass for EuroLeague TV, excluding Italy and Spain, and taking into account that it expires at the season, and taking into account that we're already in March, you should start doing it to start enjoying it as soon as possible. For more EuroLeague content, don't forget to check out social media, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, to find out all the breaking news and all that is going on with EuroLeague. Have a good EuroLeague Games week, and we'll see you next week here at 5:30 Central Time on YouTube and EuroLeague TV. Thank you guys, and goodbye.
Bye.